Hey guys, welcome to another amazing video. So today we got, obviously as you can see, a different couple with us today. And so usually Anka and I are always sitting together. We sit over there and we have these conversations about couples and about different challenges that we've gone through, things that we always address. And today we've decided to ask Wayne and Janice to join us on this conversation, and they graciously accepted our invitation. Guys, thank you for jumping in on this conversation with us. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff we want to talk about, but we want it to just be a casual conversation. And if you are watching on YouTube, please do drop a comment in the comment section, ask questions, engage, say something as well, just to get the conversation going and keep it going. Obviously it's not live, but yeah, we can reply afterwards and just check out what you guys are saying. So we got a couple of stuff, right? And so I think the first question I want to kind of toss up in the air here is, how do we deal with conflict resolution?
Yeah, but having said that, we've shared how we do our conflict resolution, and there is different ways of doing it as long as it's done in an amicable way. So, how do you guys handle your conflict?
Well, I think there are levels to conflict. You know, I mean, there are certain things we have rules that we had to put in place on how we need to fight, and I think those rules allow us to govern how our conflicts are going to end up. But I think conflict is very healthy in a relationship. If you hear a couple that they don't have conflicts, they don't have intense fellowship. Maybe that's the right word. Intense fellowship. Is it intense fellowship or conflict? Because conflict is like, maybe like this is like the Taliban or like, you know, East Africa wars.
Like
no. But there are moments where there's disagreements, you know. But I think when you have rules, and if you break those rules of engagement during a fight, you know that, okay, fine. Maybe I went, you know, a little bit further than I was supposed to go and stuff like that. But also, Janice always says that we are not fighting each other. You know, we are fighting for our marriage. You know, so in fighting for your marriage, there are stuff that is said to each other that sometimes is not pleasant, and but I encourage conversation, intense fellowship, conflict. I don't shy away from that, because I know that for me it's more dangerous if Janice is quiet.
Because now you don't know what's going on, you don't know where you stand.
Yeah. So like there, you know, when your spouse stops fighting for you or for your marriage, then there's a big problem. So you rather get in a place where she's airing those frustrations and all that kind of stuff, and you know, stay up at night and fight. Because if you go to sleep, the other person is gonna win. So stay
up and fight until you both win.
Yeah, especially that. No, but we don't shy away from conflict. You know.
No, but I just want to add to that though. It's easy for him to say we don't shy away. So we are completely different in that Wayne loves conflict. He's good at it. Me,
confrontation.
Okay,
yes.
not conflict. Confrontation. I was raised in a family where my parents were always fighting. Like I never heard them say kind or loving words to each other at all. So for me, I hate confrontation. I'm good at it. I'm good at conflict, but I don't necessarily want it. So we are very different in the way that we do communicate. But it's been something that we've had to work on and grow. And I remember like little things. So I would, even though we're fighting, I would still want to hold your hand. I still want to make you coffee and tea, which is.
I just feel like you want to poison him.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting here, you try to be nice to me. It's like there's some psychology thing going on over there.
Why are you making me tea?
What's in there? No, it messes you up, because I think how I grew up, you know, when you fight. But when someone is trying to hold hand, like you just had a very, very big fight, then you're going maybe like she still wants to hold hands, you know, baby this, and I'm like, that totally throws me off.
So in your mind, she's devising a plan to kill you.
Yeah, it was like, it just messes me up, you know?
But what I explained to him is that we have to have a sense of normality for your kids specifically.
Yeah.
So your kids still have to know that, okay, even though
We've
have
had
a huge disagreement,
we're still okay.
Yes, there's still love. We still love each other, even though we are not okay with one another. And I think that is important, because otherwise the arguments can actually get you apart, separated from one another, where the normalities are what keeps you together. So you still have to eat together, you still have to normal has to stay normal even when you are spitting fire.
How do you guys deal with this one, right? Where you involved in church, you're involved in people see you, especially, in fact, both of you on stage all the time. I know when Wayne was doing the Sunday night before COVID and all that, on stage all the time, people are like, yo, Pastor Wayne, yo, Pastor Janice, everyone like excited. And so, do you think that when people know that there is conflict and there needs to be conflict and that there are misunderstandings, do you think they short circuit? Do you think they're like, wait, hold on, I thought you guys were perfect, or I thought everything was fine? Have you ever had that, or do you think?
I think we dealt with that right at the beginning of our relationship, that we don't want to portray an image that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most people that know us, they know that we fight. They know that my wife would actually crack a joke that is like, ooh, people go, ooh. I say stuff like this, people go, ooh. So I think people know that we're not wearing a mask to pretend as
authentic,
to pretend as if we got it all together or we're getting 10 out of 10. People know, especially us, that we are not always praying at our house. We're not getting 10 out of 10.
Our kids don't have wings flying around like angels.
Yes, I mean, it's like they know that. So if you look at us in that way, that means you don't know us. Maybe you're just visiting on it. But I think for people who've been in the church longer and they've walked the journey with us, because we are very approachable and we mix with all sorts and kinds of people.
I want to throw something in there for me, Anka and I, that was a big challenge when we got married, right? So I come from a
it is.
It was, and now it is. we figured out a way to make it work. But so I come from a background, and we were speaking before we started recording, where my parents didn't fight in front of us at all, like zero, and so we never saw them argue. Then when I got older, just before I got married, my father called me in and said, look, your mom and I, we try not to argue in front of you guys or to, throw tantrums in front of you guys. We try to have that conversations in our quiet time. But what I need you to understand that we do have misunderstandings, and sometimes we do not get along on certain topics or certain things, but then we try and find a common ground and we try and see, but we try to not have those conversations in front of you guys. So when we were younger, I would sit in the back of the car and my father would do this thing, but when you become a teenager, you can pick up a vibe and you can see what's going on. Maybe not even teenager, before that. And so we put the radio louder. And I don't know, because in the car you can make the music play in the back or in the front.
Yeah.
So I think you do it to make it play in the back so that the music's loud here by us when we sitting. Then they'd have this conversation. But they'd have the conversation like, those ones. We're not really happy, but we don't want to do this in front of the kids. And so, but we would see like, okay, like there's something going on here, but let's just, we kids, let's stay out of the conversation. But then we come in and say, look, we do have it, but we try and not deal with it. And so, and I think with Anka, she would say your one, because I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, what happens, what that creates is his mother does it till this day. So that she'd be unhappy, but she wouldn't voice it. So she'll be like, no, what does daddy want? Or did you speak to daddy? Or, she'll do that. And when they're alone, then she voices her discontent with whatever was going on. What that creates is he expects me not to voice my opinion. So in his mind, he's reading it as an argument. And I have an opinion about this. And, my kids should know also that, yes, we grew up in a culture where, we don't fight or women should be submissive, but let's not have some wrong perception of what submission is. So maybe it wasn't done intentionally, but I would voice my opinion and it would come out a little louder than
it will come across as an argument, as a conflict. And again, I'm more like Janice. I try to not have. As far as I don't have to deal with it, I'll leave it there until I really have to deal with it.
I'm the type of dude that, like, if we go to the movies and my seat is 16A, I actually wish if someone is sitting on my seat. I'm like, are you supposed to be sitting here? So there is no,
So you're good at conflict.
Exactly.
But I'm not. I see a guy who's 16 and I'll be like,
oh, God bless you.
hey, I was
What
like,
is it?
hey, my bro, look here, man. You're liking it says 16A. Then let me see what yours says. Oh, sorry. Then he gets up and he moves.
I just wish someone would see myself. I'd be like, are you supposed to be sitting here? And like that. So like it's
And that's what I wanted to ask you guys this. You both are very assertive in your own ways, right? Because you're opinionated. If you feel a certain way, you do say. And you also, you've got a way of just, this is how it is, and this is, leadership qualities, right? But when it comes to the home, it's a different thing, right? And last week when in conversation you mentioned something interesting. You said that he feels that you dominate in English when you guys speak. So that barrier, because I speak in Afrikaans, right? I think in Afrikaans, okay, he can speak it also so he understands it. So there's not really a barrier, but I can use pretty words.
Choice words.
So do you fight in Afrikaans?
She fights in Africa. Now again, and I don't know if she wants to bring it up, but I bring it up for the sake of the conversation. In her home, the parents were more vocal in front of the kids or whatever the case may be. So in her world, it's like, yeah, that's how it is. You must have this argument.
No. Let's not have. I come back to that.
That's why I said, say your side.
Yeah, that's why I said that it's not. It must be that way. We must argue. Yes, my parents had good heated conversations in front of us, but for me, I got the idea. I have an opinion, so I can also speak. And for him, he sometimes reads that as disrespect. So then,
I don't mind your opinion though.
Yeah, but it's the way it's being said.
Say what you want to say.
We get what you're trying to get at. It's the way it's being said. So
And when it's said.
Yeah, and how it is
how
said.
it's
If
said.
it's come across in like, hey, it's guns blazing now, then I'm like, whoa.
And I do
why?
I do get nippy. I do. If Xavier gets upset, it's been 3 years. You have been irritating me for 3 years. And sometimes I want to cut this man just come to life. And I am nippy, so I want to get the conversation.
She wants to get the result there, like she wants me to get there. And I'm like, I'm not going to fight with you, bro.
And
I'm like, let's think about it. Does it make sense to have this argument?
Let's create an example, right? We women, we like our houses clean. If you come in, I like my space clean. And forever, in the morning when I wake up, there's this pair of socks and shoes just sitting there. And this grates the daylights out of it, right? And it's very trivial, I know. But we don't have a helper. So he'll say to me, I don't expect you to clean it up, right? I'll leave it there. It will be there for 3 days. So in my mind, by way of implication, you are expecting me to clean up. Because do you see someone here? Do you see a helper here?
I don't expect you to clean up, but I also don't expect you to get annoyed with it then.
Yeah, don't get annoyed. Just leave the song. It's just relaxing.
Now what I'm saying is, you say he doesn't expect me to clean up.
No, I know what you're saying.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, I've said it a couple of times nicely. And I just don't say it nicely anymore.
We had that was our issue with the dishes, right? So for years, I hate washing dishes. I hate it. But I also hate dirty dishes. And I also hate it when the whole sink is piled. And so we have a dishwasher. Any married couple, any couple should have a dishwasher.
Amen to that. I concur.
Dishwasher number 1. But I also, with us, I want our stuff, before you pack the dishwasher, you rinse it out. Now, Wayne believes I want him to wash it before he packs it. But the thing is, the dishwasher isn't on high because we put a lot of the kids' plastic things in there which will break. So there's reason. I know a lot of it seems like I'm just crazy and I'm just annoying, but there is reason behind it. So for years I wash the dishes and I'm so annoyed, and then finally I'm like, okay, well, can you please do the dishes? And 3 years after we got married, or 4 years after we got married, he says to me, you know what, I actually like doing the dishes. I'm like, wow. 4 years later, you're telling me you like doing the dishes, and here I have been, getting angry. What are you doing to me? And then, but that's the thing. So I think I think culturally, like you said, like his mom just keeps quiet, and then when you voice an opinion, it comes across as being disrespectful or a fight or whatever, or stirring the pot or whatever. But culturally, I think so many things have been placed on us as women, purely because we're female, and it isn't necessarily fair, like the dishes, or like you like a clean place. So it came across loud and clear during lockdown, the first few weeks, because we do have a helper. And thank you, Jesus, for our helper. Because I won't cope. I just won't cope. But during those 6 weeks when we were on level 5, oh my gosh, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm doing washing 2-3 times a day. Like, every day there's washing. I'm doing dishes, I'm cooking, I'm doing groceries, I'm doing everything. And Wayne's like just chilling. Chilling.
It's like a break.
Yeah, and he's not.
How about in lockdown I switched on?
No.
I just want to finish.
It's a lockdown. We're not going anywhere. Why would you want to be washing 3 times?
Why
Because
would you want to pile it up?
so in
You
Wayne's
can.
world,
And one day you decide today is a laundry day. I mean,
because yeah, so it's great. I must decide today's a laundry day after every 3 or 4 days because it's me doing laundry, not you. It's not. It wasn't like it was a group effort.
I feel like any guy watching this is like, ish.
So okay, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm kids. It's like there is non-stop. He's chilled, and I'm looking at it. And if anybody comes in, I own it. It feels like the floor is dirty. They're going to judge me.
no, but
They're judging him.
you said it's lockdown,
They're not-
fine.
no,
We're not supposed to be going
no.
anywhere. There's
No.
nobody visiting you. There's
Yes.
nothing happening. But we still have routines. We still have to have routines. For what? We can actually walk around with boxer shorts the whole house, kids with socks. I mean, we are stuck in the house. That was my whole point. That look,
But
we can even
Not
go.
going
We
anywhere.
can even go to bed at 5 in the morning. And wake up at 1.
But we want to be stuck in the clean house where we feel comfortable, where there aren't ants everywhere because no one has cleaned.
Because the kids
And-
left a
and-
bowl
and
there.
then Wayne's like, okay, now I'll do the dishes. Then it piles up. Then he's like, but there are still plates. Yes, because we probably have like 36 or 50 plates. Like, we have so many plates.
There's still other places.
Yes. We have dishes. We have got cutlery and dishes and glasses for days. Like we could use for probably
You see,
months.
that's my point. So if you got 50 plates,
Why?
surely you can use 50 plates when then it's done. then you actually wash
Okay.
So, for example, don't you find yourself wearing the same clothes because your clothes are clean? Like you keep on going to the same clothes because you take it off and it's washed, and next day this is my husband's shirt, you wear them. But if you've got a lot of clothes in your wardrobe, that means you can actually wear all of them until all of them get dirty, then you wash them. Then you have a chance to actually go through all your wardrobe. And like I know that I've got certain
You have a chance to go through your
yeah. I know
And
that
you've got a lot of clothes though.
yeah, I've got certain tees and track tops or shoes that if they get cleaned almost every week. So I keep wearing the same thing because I love them and I don't even get to the other side of the wardrobe. So lockdown was like, you know what? I actually get to wear all my underwear. I can wear like all my tees, everything. All that can be dirty and there's a pile up. Then
It wasn't that it was dirty. I had cleaned it, but I wasn't ironing. So there was a whole.
So it was
there
there.
a whole
Was it-
room full of washing that was clean. So
But
he got
it
to wear a whole lot more.
So you wouldn't go and get it in iron.
Do you iron your own stuff?
He's good at ironing. He loves
I
ironing.
also
Okay.
iron my own stuff.
He loves ironing. But again, he's ironing his own. He irons the tea when he
But
wants
he's
to
gonna
wear.
wear that
He's
one.
not going to be ironing
Everyone's
Jude's.
clothes.
No.
Nah, it's the same as me. So yes,
when you do like a squat course, you scarf tea. When you're about to go out of the house. So when you iron, when you want to wear it, you iron it.
and you go. And some
We love like that. I don't iron. I don't iron the kids' clothes. I don't iron my clothes. If he needs something and it needs to look proper, you know,
let's deal with the island, but when you get
Wait.
Okay.
We haven't answered my question.
The language barrier.
Yeah, in terms
oh,
of
the language barrier.
because I can take him to the cleaners if I have argument with regards, and there's certain things he will, but his domain is English, but I just don't go there. So for you guys, how do you handle that?
Look, sometimes she uses words that are specific to what we're talking about. Last night she used the word called what? You're a mansplain. So I'm like, it's at night. I'm not even playing anything. What kind of
Doesn't
playing?
even exist. I'm like, I'll Google it.
She's saying a mansplain. So I'm like,
Mansplaining.
Yeah,
Oh. Mansplaining.
yeah. So I'm thinking like, I'm not planning anything. I'm not playing. It's at night. Then I'm like, what are you on about? What does that
What are
mean?
you talking about?
So she's like, I'll Google it for you. Then
It's evil though.
No, but his
She
Wayne's
Googles it
English
and-
is better than mine. Wayne has got higher grade. He's got a vocabulary that only the Queen and him know about.
yeah, but I'm saying,
But when you're in an argument, you are more comfortable in a language that you know you can.
Can you argue in Sutu? Which language did you grow up with?
Exactly.
yeah, I'll probably mix it up.
All of them.
I'll mix like from Zulu, Xhosa.
But then can you argue in all of them?
I can, but now and then I'll actually throw in English.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe you should argue in another language that I don't understand.
Yo, you won't stand a chance then.
No, meaning our arguments won't last for long.
it
because
won't
we'll just
make
be
You'll be like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're
Once you
saying.
know the meaning of a word, now you want to
Exactly.
battle it. So
I think what's missing in our confrontations is the swear words, because
You don't swear.
no.
Yeah, we don't swear either.
Yeah.
But
we
but
don't break stuff either.
we don't
Yeah.
break stuff either. So she'll slam doors,
I'll slam doors.
and I'll be like, why are you slamming the doors?
I've always
Now,
wanted-
but now here's my challenge. Now yesterday I'm sitting on this couch here, and Ava, I don't know what she got upset about. She slams
Slams
the
the
door.
door.
So I'm like, can you see what you're teaching us children to slam doors?
It's not always the case. Sometimes it's the wind. So there's
No, lies.
Oh goodness.
No, I say
Just make sure all of your cupboards have got soft clothes.
no. Yeah. In fact, I'm
I
gonna put sponge on the cupboard.
I did that intentionally.
So there's no door slamming.
But
Yeah.
not on doors. It's on
Like
cupboards.
on wardrobes, on everything, so that because I could just imagine kids, when they get upset, they just they hang on the fridge
yeah.
and they go boom.
They swing the fridge and all that.
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted those doors that you guys have with the mirrors. Those, they won't last in my house. So I'm okay with
Yo, hi.
it.
So-
And I've always wanted those.
Let's go to the other point of when you marry the person, you marry the entire family, or no?
For me, I've met one person in there.
And then there's
No, but you still come. You're still a person in context.
Yeah, no, I know what he's talking about. That
you have to deal with.
you have to do the whole
what comes
family. Yes. So for me, what I said, no, I marry one person. Then look, my priority is her,
Mm.
and
Not the whole family.
when the family comes along, there's a place how I deal with them in that context.
Mm.
But I am not having sleepless nights because of my in-laws,
Mm.
and it would be bad for her to have sleepless nights because of her in-laws and stuff like that. So I've always made sure that I protect what is mine.
We keep it here.
But how do you strike a balance? Because I fully agree with what you're saying, because that's also what we believe and what we do in our marriage. But because you guys come from different cultures, right? So there's certain things that you had to come to learn and know, and there's certain things you had to come to learn and know. But your family is sort of your support system, right? So they're your go-tos. So how do you strike a balance that you don't alienate each other from each other's families, but still keeping true to who you guys are as individuals and as a couple?
I think it's easier for us because both of our parents have passed away. So we don't have that.
That dynamic too.
No. So it is easier
Consider.
for us. So family is more distant. They're not here in our faces all the time. So I think that for us that has been easier. But we have also agreed and decided and put into place the fact that, you know what, if it's his family, he needs to deal with them. It's not my
Yeah,
business.
we did that.
I shouldn't be fighting with his family. If I have an issue, he must go and fight on my behalf and vice versa.
I've done it intentionally though, to keep my family at a distance, because I know my family. If my family had to be involved in the day-to-day runnings of my family, where we decided to take the kids to school, when are we doing holidays, and how are we doing financially, how are we in terms of our relationship, it was going to be chaos. That much I know. So right in the beginning, I made a conscious decision to say, for me, there's a certain way I want to do
You want to do your family,
Yeah.
your life.
So they are there, but they won't ask the penetrating questions. They won't just dictate what is. Oh, we are doing this as a family.
So you said you had to set those boundaries.
I did that right from the beginning, from
You
dating.
had to set boundaries.
So they can say, like this, as a family, we are having Christmas.
Having a holiday.
A holiday or Christmas at Xavier's place, whatever it is. That means we
Yeah,
don't
we
have
must
any
check-
plans.
Yeah.
Our plans that we are doing that as a family.
Mm.
Now that doesn't exist with me.
Because you can say for yourself. So I think what us was a challenge because we were trying to again play that. So again in the beginning we had to also set those boundaries to say that look, we want to do our own thing, so let's just try and do it. And then just to set that boundary between not being disrespectful in a way where it's like, now I'm not saying we don't want to be involved with you, but we are saying it's just give us a breather. We're trying to figure out our own thing here, don't overimpose on our thing. And with me, so with my father, he was relaxed to a certain extent. He won't get involved in see why you
She's rolling her eyes now. She's like,
no.
No, he
No,
doesn't.
he won't get
He
it. So
won't.
we were living across the road from my parents, and there's chances that we never saw them even for like a long period of time. We didn't even see them. We didn't even know where they were, what they were doing. And then there were times where, now that one where it's like Christmas or holidays or things, that's the one my father's like, all right, now
He hogs holidays.
I booked first, we go in here.
Like,
Ish. Then now it causes an issue here because now I come home
Have
like,
a
ish.
breakdown.
My father booked a place here, we must do this.
and
And she's like, oh, but we didn't even discuss this thing.
as much as I like conflict, when it comes to family, I like to keep the peace because I've got a
So
family.
then she's like, let's just keep the peace and let's go. But then, so after a while, I actually had to tell my father, look, this is my wife and this is our situation here. Wait before you book things and whatever. Let me first find out where we're going and what we're doing. And 90% of the time, we didn't really have anything to do anyway. They were like, let's go with. We're going to
at least
Pumalanga, we're going somewhere, let's just go with because we're not going to do
But
much.
at least you felt like you had a say. It
Yes,
wasn't like forced.
it wasn't like,
Yeah.
you must come with or else.
Like now they've got backed off completely.
Okay,
Now
but something happened.
He's backed off a lot now. Now they'll ask us, you guys must tell us, are you free or are you not? Because what we've decided was that 1 year's my parents and 1 year's his parents.
Also because her parents lives in Namibia.
And I never get to
So
see
it's
them.
like,
So for me, December time or New Year's, one Christmas will spend with his family and one New Year's will spend, we'll alternate like that. Because I never get to see my family and so I don't compromise on that because my kids don't get to see my family as well. And they're okay with that. In the beginning, I think his father did take a bit of a...
no, actually my father did say to me, look, your wife is here, she left everything there, blah, blah, blah,
No, but what I mean is...
Go and visit her family also, she hasn't seen them
He
the whole
likes
while.
the whole family together. Always.
Yeah,
All
no,
of us.
I think for grandparents and they would like to spend those. They would want to create memories with their grandchildren, whatever it is. I think that's the thing about being a grandparent. It's that you've done your duty as a parent. Now you want to do a duty as the grandparents. You want to spoil the kids and stuff like that. But also I think for us, we also want to create memories as
For
a nuclear
yourself, for your
family.
family.
Yeah.
So I am like the whole, maybe for you, maybe just the Hendricks that actually get together. For us, it's going to have to be the Chaffs and the so-so and so. We don't do that.
And then,
Because like when you get together, there's conflict bound to happen because you haven't seen each other for the whole year, and someone saying that, and if those who are drinking, they're drunk and that kind of stuff. And I don't want that kind of thing. I want to be somewhere else, my family, and create memories with that.
look, we like yesterday we told family just to come and have something to eat. And we actually like the odd time when everyone's here. Like yesterday, the house was full. Everyone was here. Everyone brought pots and things, and we all said. But the nice thing, my family, when they do that, they also know. So they'll come here after church at 12 or something. Then when it starts getting dark, after 4 or 5, they're like, hey guys, we see you. We got work in the morning, blah blah blah, and then they leave. So then by the time it gets dark, everyone's gone. Plus the nice thing also, they help out to the point where, no, let's quickly wash the dishes, let's quickly clean up before we leave. So then when they leave, the house is back to how it was before they got here. So that's nice. It's not like everyone's like, oh, sharp. Leave at 11 o'clock. Now you're sitting here, and now the next morning you're like, oh, like there was a party at the house.
I just want to recap. I know we're going from one to the other, but I feel like we didn't not come to a conclusion in terms of conflict resolution. A lot of the times, like you say you like conflict, you're good at it, and you can be good at it, it's just you'll try to avoid it. What's the middle ground? How do you resolve it?
Well, listen, as we said earlier on, I think the main point of us having a conflict is not to kill each other or to just fight one another.
But to resolve the issue.
But to resolve the issue.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the reason why we have. It's pointless for you to enter into an argument when it's going to be inconclusive.
We're just fighting.
We just fighting. So it's like we are not fighting each other. We are fighting for our marriage. So in whatever that we discuss or we fight about, we are looking at
long term.
What's the long-term solution to what we're fighting about here? We don't fight as we used to fight 5 years ago because I think we have also graduated and grown from arguments. For example, if I do something, she'll be like, oh, okay, he's done that like 1,000 times. And this is normally the outcome. She already knows what's going on. You know? So we don't fight as crazy as we used to.
You pick the battle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You pick the battle, but does that make it okay?
No, but I think, and I think that's the thing, you have to have your boundary set in place. Wayne taught me a lot with regard to let it slide, which I'm still not okay with. A lot of things he's like, okay, we fight, just let it slide.
I had a whole sermon about that.
Let it slide, which is great. There are things that I should let it slide, but there are also things that you shouldn't. So I think with us, what we have also agreed on is if there's confrontation and there needs to be conflict so that we can resolve it, meaning I'm not just going to let something slide if 10 years from now I'm going to be so bitter and twisted and so have such a hardened heart towards him because I just let it slide and let it slide and let it slide. And here we exactly.
Well,
that I don't think is helpful.
The let it slide are for things that are
aren't necessary.
That necessary. Like let's say I'll give an example. If I'm in the TV room until 1 in the morning, I'm in the house.
That's a very good point.
I am in the house.
No, we will discuss that. Right?
I am in the house. So, and I come to bed, slide in the duvet, and I sleep. And she at 1 in the morning was like, "What time is it?" I'm like, "What do you need time for? When in bed? What you're supposed to be sleeping? Why are you so worried about
what time is it?
You concentrate on sleeping, and I'm in the house. I'm not in. So if you wanna fight about it, the next morning I'll be like, let it slide. If I was at the bar watching this thing, maybe at a pub somewhere, whatever it is, then maybe you have a case. But I am literally just 30 meters away from you.
Okay, but now this is the perfect example.
We can't find the whole day about.
Because in Wayne's world, no pun intended, right? Wayne's world. In Wayne's world, it's 1 o'clock and he's in the house. Now, in my thinking, it's great if it's holidays, etc. But now, when we're back at school, Wayne can watch golf until 4 in the morning when someone is playing in the US. And then he comes to bed, but when the kids have to be up at 6 and he has to actually be up to take them to school at 7.
Tired.
And then we're like, so it's great for him to say, I'm in the house. Well, so too is the furniture. And so too
No. This is good.
No.
Yes.
If I'm watching, no.
So when I ask,
let me speak
what
now.
time is it? It is not because I want to know what the time is. My point is,
it's late.
3 hours from now, I have to get up every morning at 6 o'clock. Whether I went to sleep at 1 or 3 or 4, I have to pack lunch and get things going.
We are missing each other here because between
the same scenario you're talking about
between 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. There are times when I fall asleep on the couch.
Yes, because
I am in the house. So if I get the strength to go and don't I wake up and go and take the kids to school? I do.
But what's the process? What's the process?
And that is exactly it.
How long do you take to
fight?
defrost to get out of bed?
What
is the process?
So that is the whole point. That is the whole point. So I have to get up at 6, get the kids awake.
Yeah, we're the same.
Wayne doesn't understand why I'm screaming
but
at
okay,
the kids.
Is that worth fighting the whole day for.
But if we're doing
That is a
every
let
day-
it slide
No,
moment.
no.
It's not let it slide moment
No.
because I am in
It's
the
not.
house.
It's
I'm in
not.
the house.
If-
Don't just
remember,
defend
the kids need to be at school for the next 12 years minimum.
Thank God. we
That
don't
means I've got a good 13 years. but every morning they have to wake up at a certain time because they have to be at school every morning at the same time. But if you want to get ready 5 minutes before they need to leave, because I've been trying to get you out of bed for the past hour. You've got tea next to you because you need to defrost.
But it's cold.
But
They
it's-
never drink it. I just stopped making it now. I'm done.
And then
Why
I end up
And
drinking it
then
eventually.
you have the audacity to tell me, don't start an argument.
And why are you
Don't-
screaming?
don't-
Why are you
yeah,
screaming
Don't
at the
rush
kids?
me. Don't rush me. Why are you screaming?
Yeah, yo, bro, we have the same conversation
Okay,
every morning.
and I think what is interesting for us as well, right, is when in trying to bring the equality, I'm like, okay, how about we take turns. So some mornings you get up, you get the kids ready, and you actually do it. And he's like, yeah, sure, just tell me when. But he will never commit to those mornings. He will never ever
next
commit.
week.
And then,
That sounds the same
and
as.
then I know
Sounds the same as me.
that, you know what, it's not going to happen. Because when you come to bed and I ask, what time is it? His alarm will go off. He won't even wake up. He will be too tired. So when I actually ask what time, I'm not asking because I'm trying to mother you. I'm not asking because
You
I'm
actually
like
want to
wondering,
know what time it
what
is.
time is it? Like how many hours do I have to sleep? I'm asking because I know what the process is. So we had a crazy time. I went away previously for a conference to Cape Town, right? For a few days, which I never do. So when I came back, Wayne's like, oh, you know what? It's great. I got the kids into a new routine. And you know, it was actually so easy. We didn't fight in the mornings, nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. So maybe you just manage mornings. Actually, you do the whole thing, then...
But the
it's
problem
a
is
whole
when
lot-
you're there, the kids are different.
It's a whole lot.
I had
It's
that
off of
convers-
me.
I had that conversation the same as
It's
Anka.
take the thing off of me. So the kids, I'm like, okay, guys. So Daddy says you got a new routine. You put out your clothes the night before. You pack your own lunch. Sorted, right? I like what he did. Let's do it. You know what Ethan said to me? Ethan's like, no, mommy, please. Daddy made us pack our own lunch. The one that I went only with juice. He didn't even check the lunch. So
These little kids are snitches, right? They pretend as if they're fine with you, everything, are happy, all that kind of stuff. When the mother comes back, they snitch on you. As if you haven't. They were happy. For the whole 4 days, they were happy.
Okay, but
That
for the
happened to
whole 4
us.
days.
That happened to us
But
as well.
can you imagine? Let's reverse the roles. Let us stay up until 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. Then you guys, we can switch roles. It will be great for me to watch. I actually can watch movies or series until 4
The
in
only
the
trouble
morning.
with that theory is Xavier has a very nonchalant, like, okay, sure, if that's what you want to do, like, just do you, but I'm doing me. Like,
We'll see in the morning how we
the kids won't be ready, the dishes won't be washed, nothing will be done. And I get up in the morning, I clean up, I get the kids ready, I do my makeup, I do myself, and then I still wait for them in the car.
What's the worst that could happen if the dishes are not washed for the whole day?
You get
I'm gonna
cockroaches
come
and
back.
flies.
I'm gonna come back and I'm still gonna have to wash it.
bro, we're not gonna win that argument, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the same conversation that happens in this house.
This is all we're pleading for. This is all we're pleading for. Just put yourself in our shoes. So culturally,
Actually, wear our shoes. We'll buy you high heels. Wear the shoes and feel the pain.
I think.
so what I'm trying to say is that culturally, it's been placed on the woman to keep things neat, make sure the husband looks good, he's got iron clothes, the dishes. Culturally, that's the case. We don't live in that anymore in that society, but it still gets expected. So when people walk through that door, and God
Whether it's
forbid
locked
there's
down or
dishes-
not.
With it's locked down or
Or
not.
if an ambulance has to come fetch you because it's COVID. Imagine.
What are the chances of an ambulance coming to a house in a year?
True. But,
Zero.
But here's the thing.
Good.
So someone comes through that door, they're like, yo, this woman's dirty. This
But they don't stay here. This is not their home. Why are they worried about your home?
But you see, I think the reason the way we reason is different. Because just for real, even me, I'm like, it doesn't matter if they see the house.
What's not their house?
But let's go back. Let's go back to that lockdown, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm doing washing, you doing dishes, and you doing the floors. Guys, I think in 6 weeks he did the floors twice.
And you have lots of floor space.
We
We
have
haven't left the house. How is the
You have lots of floor
how's
space
the-
that has been
how's the
explored.
outdoor date? How's the floor date when we haven't left the house?
So, do you understand
So you don't
our
need to
different
have-
rules?
Yeah,
no.
no, it is different.
Just different perspective. So things, what matters to me doesn't necessarily matter to him, and vice versa. But we have to find the middle ground
I think that's it.
and try and respect one another and still honor one another and still like, okay, I see you. For me, it means nothing because no one is coming in. 6 weeks lockdown. No, there's not. So it's fine. For me, no, it's not fine. It's not fine. I don't like walking into my kitchen and the pots are there, whether you've cleaned, whether we've got plates or cups for another year. That's not the point.
It has
I
been
like clean. So, and I think that is the big thing. So, some things, yes, let it slide. But some things, if it's going to grate you on a level where, you know what, it's not breaking me today and it might not break me tomorrow, but 3 years from now we're going to be divorced.
Over the
Then
dishes.
you can't listen to what I'm saying because you've built
Well, the
up
concept
and you've
probably-
built up and
Built
you've
up.
built
Here's the
up
thing,
and
you-
you haven't
Passion.
communicated.
If you know that this is upsetting someone, don't you change it? Or are you just, why are you getting
I
upset?
think-
Why are you getting upset? You know I'm getting upset. So it's more a matter of you sticking to your word. If we come to a common ground, we say, okay, Saiki, when we come home tonight, the kids need to be bathed. I need to cook and the dishes need to be cleaned. Where are you going to help? And I don't mean help that night and only that night. I mean help.
We've said.
And then I started washing the kids.
Yeah.
But that's also the irony. like you say it so proudly, right? Has anybody ever had
Yo,
to
you all
ask
do
you?
your own show, you do.
Has anybody ever had to ask you?
I feel like I'm being
Wash the
hard
kids.
here.
Yeah, because
Raise
you all
the
do this,
kids.
you all sound the same.
But that's
Because
the culture. That is the culture that we live in. Is everything is just automatically on us
On
as
your
women.
plate.
And it's not fair. And then you guys get upset that we're complaining that our plates are too full. But you're not taking the plate and sharing and letting it slide. Then eat the freaking plate.
So yes, wait, I want to say this.
It's hard.
No, eat the freaking plate.
We had the same one where Anka went somewhere. I think she went to Namibia for a week or something. And then, oh, bruh.
Sleep the other day.
Yo, bruh, these kids they were so chill. They did what they were supposed to do. They went to bed and they were supposed to. We sat and watched TV, they fall asleep. Yeah, it was so chill, right? Then soon as she got back, they were back onto like Kremlin mode. I'm like, hi, these kids weren't like this when you were gone. They were so chill when you were gone.
Let me tell you what happens here.
Here comes wisdom.
If you get to do the stuff that they're saying, get them ready for school, all that kind of stuff, with just like you and the kids, it works like a machine. As soon as the mother is in the picture,
The kids get
the kids change. They prefer the mother's way of doing because the mother's like there's a lot of cutting corners, giving them allowances here and all that kind of stuff. When I say go brush your teeth, they all jump and go and brush their teeth. When she says go brush your teeth, they want to watch TV and brush their teeth. Eat. They want to take 1, 2, 1, 2. For me, it's like eat, they eat, finish. Brush your teeth, they do that and finish. Shower is shower. Bed is bed. When she's in the picture, 2 things are going to happen. They're going to, mommy this, and she cuts the corners and it's all great. Then other thing, when I'm busy doing the cut, she comes and interferes. No, you cannot do that. No, you can't do it. But this is how I do it. This is how we work here. But she wants me to work the way she works with the kids. So when she does that, guess what? I automatically and like subconsciously just
It's like back off.
just back off.
So we had a thing now recently with this whole thing where I'm like, okay, how about besides getting up in the morning and running it, which we still haven't got determined times or days, right? I'm like, how about you cook at least once a week? But it must be completely, the ball is in your court. Don't tell me to go and buy the ingredients or what.
You must do everything from scratch.
It's yours. It's your night. If you're saying you're cooking, it's yours. So the funniest thing is, then Wayne's like, okay, we're going out for supper. That's like,
It was
that's
my
his
life.
plan.
What do they want? They want me or they want food? So I'm saying the challenge in our house, no my plan. Listen, the challenge.
The challenge in our house is this. The kids don't eat what is cooked. They want to eat what they want, which they get from the mother. So Judy come, no, I'm going to have a slice of onion and water.
She doesn't eat onion. Something like that.
Something like that. And Ethan will be like, oh, I'm just going to eat the meat. And that's it. Then I want to eat more stuff. Then she come and eat the seeds. So there's like probably four different types of meals. I don't have the energy.
That was my only trap.
Oh, my kids do the same.
I don't.
I
want to. If I'm gonna cook fish and chips,
You must teach everyone.
everybody eats fish and chips. There's no way now I'm gonna be doing now cut slice of onions and
Now listen.
I don't have the space in my life for that kind of. It's so complicated for me.
So wait,
It's so complicated for me.
Wednesdays, we go out for supper. So once a week, we're going out for supper. So then Ethan has the audacity to say to me, Mommy, you should cook the way Daddy cooks. Meaning, you should also take us out for supper. then, on the one night when he actually cooked, so we did the Daniel fast for like part of Jan, right? So the one night, I'm like, go downstairs and I'm like, well, I'm smelling food that I don't know, that I didn't cook. I'm like, what is happening? So I go downstairs, I'm like, what is that? He's like, no, he's cooking. And what Chambolia, right?
Chamolia.
Chamolia, I don't know what Chamolia is.
No,
Right?
I don't know.
So like, what are you cooking? Chamolia. Now we're having an argument of what it is, because I'm like, okay, it's like a spinach, like a leafy green. It's not a leafy green. Okay, it's a kale. Okay, it's a... Meanwhile, so he says to me, didn't you say I must cook one night a week? Now he's cooking something that only he eats. And now all of us
Yeah, well, I'm cooking.
didn't you say that I must cook one night a week? Now it's me.
Yeah, it's your fault. I'm cooking, most.
I
Did you
love.
not eat chamolia? The kids loved it.
They didn't. No, they didn't. They did not.
Okay, guys. Wait, guys. I think let's call it. I think we're going for a while now. It's only going to be part 1 and part 2. But I think to crown it all, how long are you guys married?
12 years this year.
12 years. We're going 7 years, not 6 years.
7. You better get it
7.
right.
Wait, 7. So I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna come to a conclusion on that one, because I mean I think there's people married 50 years, but they still have those.
We've gone to counseling just so that the counselor can tell Xavier what I just said, what you just said. I had a counselor tell Xavier that.
We are different species.
I think we're just different, but I think we need to find a way just to make it work somehow.
Listen,
and I think we did find a way to. It's
if
just
you have done 6
frustrating.
years together,
You can do another
there
thing.
is a lot of
Good thing.
good things going on. So
More than the bed, more than the socks and the
it's probably like 5% of the things that you fight about. So why don't you then focus on the 95% that is great, which is the whole trick in relationships, is to focus major on the majors, don't major on the minors. So I do not think there's gonna be any point in your life where you're gonna not argue about anything. If you stop arguing, that means someone is hiding.
He's trying to live here.
Disengaged, yeah. So you see, even people who've been married for 50 years, ask them. They've just learned to live with their differences. That's, I think, the magic when it comes to marriage. So there is so much going on for us that has been happening for 12 years. There's so much great things happening for you guys for the past 6, now going to 7.
Yeah.
If you look at, if we give you a list to write all the great things and all the bad things, you find that, look, there's probably going to be about 5 things that you...
And it's not even that.
It's
serious.
not actually, yeah, but okay, it's the little foxes, but
Yeah.
you're doing great.
Overall.
And that's why I'm always reminded, like, listen,
We're not so bad
we
after
are
all.
we are doing amazing.
quite
Yeah,
normal.
we're not so bad after all.
We are. Then when you see people like in couples in public where they like set it off proper,
And you're like,
Yeah.
child
makes you
cry,
feel
and
You're
you're
like,
like, something like you said.
We're not too
We are not bad. We are
We're not
doing
the
great.
only ones.
We are not the only one. And also the comforting things that look, you should feel better now knowing that, oh, okay, we are not the only ones going through these things. Because you feel like you're
like
bad.
what you
all
guys
this
are saying
stuff.
is exactly the conversation we
Yes,
have.
so you'd be like,
Same.
okay. It's part and parcel of the two becoming one. It's not an easy process. The two becoming one is a lifelong process.
So there'll always be.
There's always going to be there because you're growing as a people. You know, your needs when you are 23 are not the same needs that you have now.
50.
When you're 33, when you're 43, 53.
They all change. You know, I was able to go to camp Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and still, you know, be mobile Monday, Tuesday. Nowadays, if I just don't sleep for 2 days,
4 o'clock in the morning.
that's
Go.
it. I'm
Tired.
tired.
You know, and that happened to me like last night, because sometimes I edit till late as well. So I'll sit in it. Other times I don't need to have a vlog out the next morning, so I don't have to edit. But then I'm just like, yo, I just want to have
Me
just
time.
I would just
How is me time
Do
if you're
nothing.
fixated on a screen and your mind is occupied anyway?
and so
Because it's his time.
it's just like,
His
yo,
me time.
hi, the children are sleeping and there's no stress.
Silence.
Just can sit
That's
there
what I'm
doing
saying.
nothing.
You see, that's one thing that women don't understand, that we have the nothing box, which women will never understand. That what are you doing? Nothing.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing.
Like, how is
I
that
just
possible?
wanna do nothing.
There is actually nothing going on when I'm quiet. You know, sometimes I can sit here and look at the TV when there's nothing on the TV, and I can sit here for 1 hour. What are you doing? Nothing. And she is thinking that there is something wrong with me.
There's
No,
nothing.
it's a nothing box.
The thing for me is, I'm okay with that. Just don't do it in my space. When you see there's so much going on.
So I think-
But I think that is the big frustration for us as women. Is so. In any case, what the story I was talking about earlier on is when I came back from Cape Town. No, it was even Wayne went overseas for golf, right? He went to overseas. I have to say this. So also, Wayne sent me a voice note saying, Ethan, I miss you building Lego, and Jude, I miss you doing this, and Love, I miss you fighting and shouting. I'm like, so I'm playing it to the kids, and Ethan's like, Daddy's missing you shouting at us. I'm like, that's nice. And then I was actually I was thinking that I wasn't shouting at all. So I'm like, let's send Daddy a voice note and actually tell Daddy that I haven't shouted once. And the frustration comes when he came back, I was shouting again. I'm like wondering why. And the frustration is when all of it is on us and we're sitting and watching you guys with your nothing box.
and then the frustration comes up.
Exactly, because we have to juggle all the balls and keep all the balls in the air, and you guys are fixated on a nothing box. Like, can you not time your nothing box better? Like, and Wayne will say to me, I'm in the house again. So too is the furniture. The furniture doesn't wash the kids, it doesn't feed the kids, it doesn't put them to sleep. So I'm all for your nothing box, but your nothing box
Can I say something in that?
needs to be in line with my time.
We did not so long ago, we did a counseling session as well, and one of the points that we deal with in the counseling is the different perspectives how people look at things. And so the one person was saying that exactly what we say now, I feel like you're not doing anything. And then the guy was saying, but you think I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually coming up with a plan. So, and I think just to come up for the gents here, is that a lot of times there's also pressure that we as guys are dealing with, but the way we deal with it is like, we keep quiet and try and figure it out and try and go hustle somewhere or go take on an extra gig or go and do something just to get like an extra $2,000 or $3,000. Because in our minds we're thinking, yo bro, how are we going to pay the rent at the end of the month? How are we going to cover this? How are we going to buy clothes? How are we going to do that? And so when you're sitting there, you're trying to come up with... So last night I'm sitting here, I have the computer in front of me. I'm looking at things and I'm sitting here. So Anka comes downstairs, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, now I'm thinking, if I did this last year, I would have had now 100,000 if I did this better, if I did this. She's like, yeah, well, last year's gone now. There's no point in thinking. But in my mind, I'm sitting here coming up with a plan like, yo, bro, how can I do this different so that I can cover, holes and
Is
things.
that what you're doing in
So-
your nothing box?
So,
No,
no,
that's
that's
not the
not.
nothing box.
No, the
That's
nothing
not
box
the-
is nothing. But a lot of times the lack of movement doesn't necessarily mean the lack of thought process. So like sometimes you are sitting and thinking, like in the situation we dealt with, where I said to the lady, look, did he ever drop you with a plan? No, he hasn't. Did he ever say he's gonna do it and not do it? No, he hasn't. So does that not mean that he was thinking about it while he wasn't saying anything? Yeah, maybe he was. So that there are times, I'm not saying that should be a blanket to cover all your sins, but there are times where you're like,
This is what we're saying, is that we understand all of it and we appreciate all of it. We really do. Timing is key. So what we're saying, let's go back to the morning story. get up and assist in the interim.
If you can say brush your teeth and there's no argument, then say
Say it. That's all we're
Say
asking.
brush your teeth.
If you can say eat,
And they
But the other thing is the kids also, the kids get to a place where they also can read the situation and they can be manipulative. And so,
yes, but if you're there to manage it, you're going to manage
you
it
can
better than
manage
us.
evidently because we scream, and when they're with you, they don't scream. So
yeah.
say
And
it.
so I said,
Say it.
I don't have to fight with them, they just do what I tell them.
So say what you say when they don't fight,
And
so
we
that
have the
we
same
don't have to
conversation.
fight. You know, so always asking his assist in the afternoon when we come and I'm cooking. Why must I say something when the kids are busy breaking down my house?
Maybe let's bring this to a closing here,
Yeah,
because
close.
what we're talking about here didn't begin with us. Noah came from the ark straight into the cave.
Can't we be the ones that change it? Can't we be the trailblazers?
I don't know if you change 100 years.
Noah came from the ark straight into the cave there and said, "There, we're like, I'm just gonna drink here."
Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please do drop a comment in the comment section. I guess, and that the conversation was real. It's real things that happen, and I'm sure you can relate to it. And there's probably the same thing going on in your house. But that's it. And I think the point that, like what Wayne said, is that even though, there are these things, but the major point is like 90% of this thing is working. We'll figure it out with 10 while we go. But most of it is working, and we're actually getting along. It's years now, and we're still together, and the kids are fine, and everyone's moving along. So but I think don't let the little foxes cause trouble, but at the same time, don't major on the smaller things.
Just keep the communication and the conversation going. That is key. Once that breaks down,
It's gone.
then the honesty and openness gone. The whole integrity gone. If you keep the conversation and communication going, you should be able to sort most of the things. It's when it goes dead quiet that you know there's trouble in parallel.